they were on Poker Night TV. So I believe we'll have to manually answer those, or maybe they can plug those in as we get going here. Question for Jeff: who do you think is the best between a No Limit Hold'em, Antonio and Trickett, and why? Good question. I know Antonio. I've played with him in cash. I can never play with Trickett in cash. Obviously, these guys got tangled up at the one drop playing for the biggest purse in the history of poker, and Antonio had a lead to start and ended up winning. So they played heads up before, but I mean, those are one of those things. Like, it's really hard to say who's better at a cash game or not. I mean, those are two guys I wouldn't want to see at my table. I'll put it that way. I don't know if I could pick. I think Antonio is just like his reading ability. I think he's one of the best with his intuition and live. He's played a lot of live poker. Maybe in a tournament I might take Trickett over Antonio, I believe. And then in a cash game I'd probably take Antonio would be my very simple answer. But again, not much separating the two, and both very sound, well aware of how the game works. And I think there's not much between them in either. And I see the Nightbot says it's Robert Romanello as the commentator with Simon Trump, but I have now taken over for Roberto Romanello, excuse me, and some of these commands are going to get updated as we get going here. What was the big hand that Trickett lost? There was the one to Antonio I saw, which was like, I mean, I saw the one thing, but it wasn't like a huge pot. Was there like a really big pot he lost? I don't think I saw it.
He just put in a big bluff with no hand against Uri Ahayon, and previously done it again against Antonio
on that one.
So it's just those two big bluffs.
I wish you guys could see the camera right here. That's my emote from my Twitch channel. It's got the hype, the coffee mug, the Brazilian coffee mug. I am drinking. I have a mug in my hand as we speak. What's going on? Crazy Kyle 86. Welcome. JD Poker 12, what WSOP events are you most looking forward to? The tag team, the 10K tag team. I am on Antonio and Brian Rast team, and we actually have a very special guest for our fourth, and that's probably the one I look the most forward to.
It's Encore on the beach.
You have to slip me that password. Come and hang out. That sounds like a good time. That is the place to be in Vegas for sure.
We'll have a golf day on the Tuesday and a downtown experience. Take players down to Binion's, tell them how it all started. And then finally we have trip to the Grand Canyon on the Thursday. So, yeah, that's going to be fun.
Raise 5,400. Full. Sorry. Full. Forwards and 3 diamond X fulls. Full. Call. Instantly.
You get a sweat one time, no?
No way. No, not with you. You're too good.
Okay, we have 16,900 in the pot pre-flop. Pocket nines for Safedin. It's a queen high flop. And ace queen for Trickett.
They're the ones who are putting the commands in because it's through a separate program that they've got access to.
Check.
So what's your handicap? Are you like to golf?
No, I don't play golf.
Okay.
No.
I was gonna say I've been over to Scotland. I've done that before, but I'm not much of a golfer. It's pretty special over there. I definitely could get better.
So this pot was checked all round, and Trickett chose to check it, even though he's on the button with the ace queen high flop. He's got backdoor nut hearts as well. 4 diamonds hasn't improved that draw. Surely going to bet now.
Ace queen. This would be my selection for the toughest hand to play in poker. I think that's the one that just seems to get you in trouble a lot. It's one you can't really just like back out of, but it's kind of just one of those hands. It's tough to ever get win a big pot with ace queen. You're either, you're behind, or it's hard to get value if you're ahead. It's just a tough one. But this is a pretty good board for ace queen, and Francois releases, and the ace-3 just has nothing doing. So there it goes. A little momentum for Sam.
Yeah, I agree with Grap FFS, delayed check. C-bet probably because he didn't want both to fold.
Someone saying, still got Simon has to get laid in Vegas with that accent. I'll tell you, man, I got some of my very close friends are over from the UK, and that accent is a nice thing to have. One of the best calls I've ever seen in poker is Brian Rast calling Phil Lock in a huge pot. Or did he? I don't want to spoil it. Maybe he bluffed him. But Phil Lock and Brian Rast, you can search it in YouTube. It's an amazing hand here at Playground Poker in the Premier League 7, Party Poker Premier League 7. Did a YouTube video on as well if you want to just watch the highlight.
And you haven't done push-ups before?
Premier League, yeah. If you've seen the Premier League, drop a 1 in the chat. If you've ever watched any of the Party Poker Premier League, that is entertaining stuff.
For 10K though, you'd like go for the third. It doesn't matter.
Love. The format says raising it. Yeah, I think it's really unique. Man. That was fun stuff. Get the ones out if you like Party Poker Premier League. Wish they bring that back. A season 8 feels right. End on number 7 doesn't feel so good. A lot of ones, all ones. Get the ones out for Party Poker Premier League. LA Brainwash. I think poker's on the way back after with Twitch. I do. Look at what Party Poker's doing with these guarantees. I mean.
Yeah.
How many push-ups could you do for 10,000 a point?
Probably 50. I'd take over.
Trickett makes it 700 with pocket 8s.
This is a popular lot of things question. How many push-ups could you do for 10,000? If it's like you get 10,000 for every push-up you do.
I mean, that's a lot of push-ups. That's a lot. I mean, you might.
Yeah, he's got nothing to gain, like just gets hammered.
How many could you do for
Crap hand with a straight draw. Trickett over pair. Hang on. Middle pair. Oh, top pair. Queen 5.
Yeah, everyone's got a little taste. King Queen suited. One of the nicer hands in this bunch is gonna just be sitting out. Trickett is got the overpair, confidently betting, but it is multi-way. Realizes that there's definitely some bad boards.
We do 22 now.
Brian Rast, such a boss. He is a boss. Glad to have him on my tag team. I will let him drive as much as he wants.
I can do 3 sets of 20.
Yeah, but he's not stopping.
Nobody here can do
Right, exactly. No, I agree.
I'm saying I could start my own flow show. We have the Poker Flow Show already on Twitch.
How about this? I'll bet you 22,000 you can't do 22 bullets. Proper.
Hype man, talking about Jesse May. I like Jesse May on Premier League. I liked his style on there.
Like in 3 months?
No.
3 months? I'll do it in Vegas.
Pretty good run out for Trickett.
22 pull-ups.
Not pairing top pair and no 6 or ace. Should feel good, but he's not really going to want to be betting. Trickett clawing back a little bit, getting close down to one near 100.
Yeah. Claw back 50,000. He was 158 down.
And folded a flush. Made a nice fold pretty quickly on the river. 8 high flush versus the nut flush on a paired board.
Without a break.
No one could do that. I mean, you can hang at the bottom as long as very difficult. Yeah.
They've gone from press-ups, pull-ups.
I would bet you can don't do 15.
Jeff, how big of a piece of Antonio do you have? Antonio and I do business in games generally. I don't like kissing and telling, but he is one of him, Rast, guys we like swapping, trading, doing things. So you got to give your boys a little sweat here and there.
Start off with 5, 6, and
Jeff, flying out to Vegas this year to play in my first WSOP. Any tips? And I am playing. I will, man. I hope you come say what's up. Any tips? What do you think, Simon? What would you give for people
If he
playing
hasn't played
first
before,
live takers, first live tournaments, being alive? You've done the circuit and been successful.
Where's he flying from?
Where are you flying from?
If he's flying within the US, it's not so bad. If you're flying from Europe or anywhere that you're going to experience any jet lag, I don't play at all for the first 3 days.
That's great advice, and that's easier said than
very, very
done
difficult
because,
to do,
like,
but I do it.
especially your first time, you get to Vegas, the bright lights. All you can do is you think about getting downstairs. But I would not recommend getting in at 9 a.m. and going and playing a noon event. At least take a day, maybe a couple. That is great advice, and I think just get acclimated, take your time, don't get too excited.
Right. Let's have a look what's going on here. I think I'm going to raise this one.
Look at this. Trickett's got
How much?
aces. I can't believe how many times these have come out.
I reckon
Rob's had them,
Yeah.
Lauren's had them, and
Francois twice at
Francois
least?
3 times.
I would bet on Francois having it the most. So this is a spot where if Antonio was suited, I think he would be super pumped to get involved. Francois has a nice hand to crack a big pair, but he's not really he's not been showing today that he wants to put a lot of money in before the flop without premiums. Like Antonio with 10-8 suited is coming after Tricky, especially this deep.
He's put a big raise in, isn't he? 7,000.
Oh, I know.
And I like the sizing, Sam. It might look a little big, but the problem is it's a fine-tuned number. You want to maybe get one caller or take it down. When you make it 4,000 or 5,000, you go 4-way. Aces is not a great spot. Uncle Gav 2, I am on the staples. I bet with Doug, Polk, Perkins, and Timex. I do think they have a good shot. Way better than like 30-1 or 20-1. They got 50-1, so at 50-1, I love it.
Great flop for Trickett's aces.
Oh, yeah.
Should set and take.
Pretty dry. The hands type it. You wouldn't even expect the Jack 5 suited to be in, but even against like the Jack 10, Queen King Broadway suited, it's super clean. You're really only scared of a set, like 6s or 7s there, and
That's for girls.
good flop there.
I love that. I love that.
Trickett down below 100 grand
Well, you know it's true.
loss.
Slanker is asking if there's a way we can turn the player volume up. I don't know. Do we control that, or is that done by them? So they're asking.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry, John James W., the biggest cash pot I've ever seen in poker with my own 2 eyes. I've seen close to a $2 million cash pot in a game where I was there, like 1.8. We were in Ibiza, so.
Thank you for watching. If you want more from Poker Night in America, click subscribe. And if you want to feed my ego, click like.